Hey, this is Rachel Bolan from Skid Row, and you're watching EMGtv, Touching Bass. Why I play bass is two words: Gene Simmons. I was a kid, I guess I was 11 or 12, and I got a copy of Kiss Alive. And to be honest, I wasn't even sure what a bass was, but I saw a picture of him, blood all over himself, breathing fire. I want to do what Gene does. And then my ear started going to bass. And being fourth out of four kids, there was a lot of music in the house at all times. And if an up-and-coming bass player asks me what for tips and pointers, I say put on Kiss Alive or put on Deep Purple Machine Head, because the bass is so prominent on all that, and that's what made me play bass. And I learned both albums pretty much front to back. The most influential bassist, it's such a broad term. Like overall, I think people, when you say bassist, most people think of two guys, one being Geddy Lee and the other being Jaco Pastorius. Me, however, I can't even get my head around the type of playing that Jaco did, because it's not my style. It's amazing and I appreciate it so much, but I don't have an application for it, but he's incredible. Geddy, again, not really my style, but there are definitely little things that I took from him unknowingly. My personal influences are Gene Simmons, Paul McCartney, Dennis Dunaway from Alice Cooper's band, Graham Mabey. I know I'm missing somebody in there. Little things here and there. Geddy Lee, I'll hear licks that I do in a song. Steve Harris, little licks. Benjamin Orr from the Cars, little licks here and there. But my biggest influences are Gene and Graham and Paul McCartney. My number one bass has an amazing story, and I'll try to give the Reader's Digest version. I was a kid, and I used to go to Garden State Music, which I ended up working there as an adult with Snake and with Scotty Hill. But I went in, and there was this weird color Mockingbird bass, and I took it down, and I sat down, and I played it. I'm like, oh, it plays really good. I want one of these, but I didn't want one in that color. So I asked this guy, Paul, who ran the shop, I said, can I get this in Candy Apple Red? He's like, yes, but that's a special order. It's gonna take a while. Hopefully you'll have it by the end of the summer. And so saved up, kept putting money down on it, kept putting money down. In the meantime, going in every chance I can, sitting there playing this other bass, sitting there playing this other bass. Bass finally comes in on the way to rehearsal. I grab it. I guess, maybe I was about 17. I grabbed the bass, I go to rehearsal, and I figure, I've got a new bass, I'll buy a new strap. So I buy a new strap, put it on, stand up, the headstock does a nosedive. I'd never played a Mockingbird standing up. So top heavy, and I'm a little dude, that my arm was getting tired. So took that bass, I called Paul, and I was like, dude, I'm coming in, I'll be there in a second, I'll explain when I'm there. I come in, he goes, what happened? I go, I never played it standing up. It's too top heavy and too long for me. And he's like, oh no. I go, can I get a refund? He's like, no, it's a special order. He goes, you can put it on layaway. So as he's filling out the papers to put it on layaway, I look, and there's a 78 Fender P bass, a Mocha in there. And I pick that up while I'm waiting, I'm playing, I'm like, whoa. I go, it was for sale less than what I paid for the Mockingbird, believe it or not. And it's on layaway. It's on consignment. I can't just do a trade. So I was like, all right, cool. I put it on consignment, and then go back to rehearsal. Calls me and says, you're not gonna believe this. This is like 2 or 3 hours later. You're not gonna believe this. The dude who owns that bass wants to do a swap, wants to see if you want to do a swap. He's in a death metal band. He doesn't think the P bass fits his image. He wanted a Candy Apple Red, either a BC Rich or something else, a Flying V bass or something. He wants your bass. Want to do a trade? Absolutely. Go down, pick up the bass. It even has on, well, this doesn't, a bolt on the neck plate. It had the name of his band. It was called Slow Death. It had his last name and his social security number, like real roughly etched in on it. And that bass is, I played on the first Skid Row record. I played it on all the Skid Row records except for the most recent one. And I played it on the Stone Sour House of Golden Bones double album. And I used to bring it on the road, but then I retired it. So that's my go-to bass. That's the one that's right next to my console in my studio. Most iconic bass line to me is Wilton Felder's bass line to I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. That defines exactly what a bass line is supposed to do. And it moves, there's the note, the passages and everything. Dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-da-ba-dum, dum, 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 do-do-do-do-do. That little do-do-do-do-do before it goes into the descending line, he couldn't have picked a better passage for that. So that to me, it stops when it's supposed to stop, it gets out of the way when it's supposed to get out of the way, and it grooves when it's supposed to groove. And it moves the whole song from beginning to end. And that's what you're supposed to do. So to me, that bass line is the most iconic bass line. I would be a stunt double for Dee Dee Ramone. All those downstrokes, all that energy. I don't know if you've ever been to a Ramones show, but it was complete chaos, but kind of controlled. The pits were great, slam dancing was great, everyone took care of each other, but I could only imagine seeing it from the stage. And who doesn't want to do 40 songs in a set and yell 1, 2, 3, 4 between each one of them? So Dee Dee Ramone, I'd be his stunt double. Man, a technique is kind of your own preference, the way you want to play. A bass technique, I think that people should learn. Maybe an approach is to get out of the way as a bass player when you're supposed to get out of the way. Don't stomp on the melody, don't stomp on busy guitar riffs. If you have to just pedal through something, pedal through. You could show off when it's time. An example is 18 in Life. When it gets to the solo, I don't even do, you're playing over a chorus, I don't even do the pickup notes because that solo is so iconic, and I knew it was iconic when I first heard it, that it's just saying like, get the fuck out of my way, and I did. And here we are, almost 40 years later, and everyone's learning that solo, so. The ultimate rhythm section for me, other than Rob Hammersmith and myself, would be Paul McCartney and Dave Grohl. And I know that they've done stuff together, but they're without a doubt one of my favorite bass players and one of my favorite drummers. For that would be the rhythm section that would do it for me big time.